If you're relocating to Portland, Oregon, or really relocating anywhere for that matter, there's a whole lot of boring stuff you have to check off the list before and once you get there. In this video, we're going to talk about what it takes to become a true Oregonian, and all that starts now. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Paul Clem with the Home Team Brokers coming to you from Portland, Oregon. And as you can see, I had to move inside. That wind was really blowing, but yeah, we got some good snow. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. It was the most snow we've gotten since 1949, but that's not what this video is about. In this video, we're going to talk about the steps you need to take to become a Portlander. And when you're moving to a new city, there's a laundry list of things that you need to do, right? Especially when you're moving from one state to another. And so a lot of these things, you know, you might do once you get here, but I think it's going to be really important to have this on the radar. And really this video, the purpose is for you to put together a checklist of things that you need to accomplish, again, once you get here. So in the description of this video, there's going to be links to everything. Copy, paste it, email it to yourself, or reach out to us and we can send this to you directly. Now, if you don't want to hear about any of my commentary about these items, you just skip to the last couple of minutes of this video and I'll do a quick recap. But number one on the list is going to be, you need to register to vote. So I think there's a lot of different websites, a lot of different places that you can go online to register to vote in a different state. But it's definitely something that if we have an election upcoming, it's something that you'll want to have taken care of. Now in Oregon, when you're looking at the primaries for the presidential elections, you can only vote in the primary for the party that you're registered for. So if you're a registered Democrat, you can only vote in the Democratic primary. If you are a registered Republican, you can only vote in the Republican primary. Now, if you're registered independent, you can't vote in either of them. Although, I mean, you can vote in the independent primary, but either way, you are going to be limited there. So you go to the Secretary of State's website, enter in your information, boom, super easy. You can get your voter card. You can probably get a digital voter card now, but I will link to that in the description of the video so you'll know exactly where to go to do that. Now, before we go any further, if this is your first time to the channel or you've been here and you haven't already, and if you want to get more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. And we've helped so many people relocate to Portland and move to the Portland metro area. And as real estate professionals, we love to help with that process. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video. Schedule a Zoom call with us. However you decide to get a hold of us, we would love to help with your move to Portland. Okay, next on the list is going to be your driver's license and your vehicle registration. So this is probably going to be pretty similar to where you're coming from. And if you think the DMV in the state that you're coming from is bad, just wait till you get here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You can make an appointment. In fact, I think you still have to make an appointment with the DMV to go in to get your driver's license, whether you are renewing it or you're getting a new driver's license in a new state. And to do that, you're gonna need some form of identification like the driver's license that you have now from your current state. You're going to need some proof of identity. So I think like a social security card would suffice for that. And you're going to need proof of address. So you're actually going to need 2 pieces of mail from the address where you will be living. So that can get a little tricky when people move here, you know, if they've purchased a house or they're under contract, you know, they start having mail sent there. I think you're gonna have a little bit of a grace period. So if you move here and when you arrive, you have a couple of pieces of mail, they're ready in the mailbox, that should be all you need. And that's actually something we've helped a lot of people out with. Before they've arrived into town, we've actually, you know, gone to the house, picked up some mail, put it inside, so you have it there ready once you arrive. And then the next piece with your car, with the DMV, is going to be your title and registration, which a lot you can do online. Again, I will link to that in the description of the video. I think you're gonna need to pay anywhere from like $120 to $300, depending on what you need to register, if you're transferring the title and things like that. But again, a lot of that, or all of that process outside of your driver's license can actually be done online. Now, if you are renewing like a registration or registering your car newly in the state of Oregon, you're probably going to need to pass a DEQ test. So the Department of Environmental Quality, you'll actually go to a DEQ DEQ site. They'll plug in a hose into your exhaust pipe, and they'll test the emissions from your car. So depending on the age of your car, I think, or maybe the type of car, there's some criteria there. You can find out if you need to pass a DEQ test to get your car registered in the state of Oregon. All right, next, of course, you need to find your doctor. And so depending on if you're transferring healthcare or if the healthcare that you currently have, what it is and what's available here in the Portland metro area, those are all things you're going to need to figure out. And taking some of those steps before actually arriving here, will put you in a position to, once you arrive, you'll already have that already taken care of. There's a great website called docspot.com where you can look up doctors within certain insurance networks and providers. There's a lot of other resources out there too. So again, a lot of this will depend on the insurance that you have, or if you are getting new insurance based on, moving to a new market, whatever's going to make the most sense for you. But obviously finding that primary care provider, and kind of having that home base is going to be really important. And the Portland metro area has a lot of medical services, and it's some of the best in the country in terms of on a per capita basis as far as your options and opportunities for healthcare. So depending on where you're moving to, what neighborhood, what suburb you're moving to, you're going to have options probably within a pretty quick drive from where you're moving to. Again, just depending on your provider and everything. But docspot.com, I'll link to that in the description. Okay, commuting, this is something that you can really get on right away. And this is something that we really actively engaged with people on during their home search because depending on where you work, if you work from home, or if there's certain activities, entertainment, things you want to get involved in, your proximity to that, what your daily commute's going to look like is obviously super important. So Google Maps is a great resource. So, plug in the address of a property you're interested in, and then start calculating those commute times. But once you've chosen a home, once we're under contract and we have our eye on a close date and a date to actually move in, you can really start looking at, okay, there's these different districts, these different restaurants, these areas, neighborhoods that I know we're going to be going out and spending a lot of time in. I know my office is here, but maybe we can look at, what the different routes are, because depending on the time of day, you might take the freeway, you might take back streets, you might take a highway or, this thoroughfare or that thoroughfare. It's all really going to depend. So there's a lot of research that you can do before actually moving in or right when you get there to really get the lay of the land and understand what the commute's going to look like. Now, another consideration there, especially depending on where you live, is going to be the public transit. So are you going to take TriMet? There's an expansive bus system with a lot of different bus lines throughout the Portland metro area. There's also the train. So the Max line, which is also part of TriMet. So there's park and rides. You can ride a bike or drive a car to a parking lot and take the Max to your destination. Or you might want to live right near a Max line, because of the ease of access from, the Max line to a lot of different areas of the Portland metro area. Biking is also a huge piece of how people commute in the Portland metro area. This is the most bike-friendly city in the country. A lot of people bike, for fun, for leisure, for exercise, and a lot of people really bike everywhere, to work, whatever it may be. So looking at what those routes might be, because there's a lot of great accessibility for bikers, but some streets, some routes are going to have more bike lanes than others and things like that. Or there's going to be some areas where you can cut through some trails, some paved bike trails. I know in Portland, in Portland proper, in particular in some of the neighborhoods on the east side of Portland, there's actually these greenways where there's streets that are set aside for bikers specifically. So you can drive on them, but there's signs everywhere that says local access only. So they try to limit the amount of cars coming through. And if you are, I've only ever driven on these streets. I'm not much of a biker myself, but when I've been on these streets, you see a ton of bikers going up and down, and it's great. So very bike-friendly communities all throughout the Portland metro area, and definitely something that if you are planning on biking, looking at some of the best routes for your commute and other places you would want to go, is a great place to start. I'll link to a great map in the description where you can start exploring some of that. Okay, next, if you're coming with kids to Portland, or if you plan on starting a family in Portland, where you live will determine, of course, what school district you're in. So there's the Portland Public Schools, there's the Beaverton Schools, there's the Wilsonville West Lynn School District, Tigard-Tualatin, North Clackamas School District, there's Oregon City Schools, there's Sherwood Schools, Lake Oswego Schools, Gladstone. So again, where you live in the Portland metro area will determine what district you're in, and all of the districts have registration that's super easy on their website. I will link to all of that in the description of the video as well. So I'll link to every district. So depending on where you live, or if, of course, if you're watching this video, you likely haven't moved here yet. So if you are looking at different areas and you want to look at some of these districts' websites, again, they'll all be linked in the description of the video. So you can start looking around and kind of seeing some of the differences a little bit in some of the school districts. I know for a lot of people, that will be kind of top of the list as far as what, what determines exactly where they end up moving to. All right, next on the list is going to be figure out your trash and your recycling. So in Portland proper, they're going to come and take garbage every 2 weeks, but they'll take recycling every week. I know in like Washington County and a lot of other suburbs, they'll take recycling every other week, but take garbage every week. And of course, exactly where you live will determine what days that's going to be. So I haven't found a resource online. There's a lot of different companies throughout the Portland metro area that do garbage and recycling service. The biggest one is going to be Waste Management. So this is a really big garbage and recycling company, and some suburbs have smaller garbage and recycling services, but both Waste Management and some of these other companies in the Portland metro area, on their website, they don't have a schedule. But when you move to your home, while you're under contract even, we're going to be at the house for inspections. We're going to be checking things out. We'll be by the house quite a bit, and we'll be able to see when garbage is out on the street, and we can figure it out that way. But something to keep on the radar, obviously, when you're moving, in those first few days, in that first week, probably going to be a lot of trash and recycling. So, you don't want to miss that opportunity to be able to discard some of that right out of the gate. You don't want that stuff building up in your garage or on your patio. So definitely something to look at. The other piece there is going to be other utilities like, electricity, water, sewage, natural gas. So natural gas, Northwest Natural, that's the big provider. I don't know of any others in the Portland metro area. PGE, Portland General Electric, that's the big electric company. So you're not going to be dealing with other providers there necessarily. But for water, there's dozens of water districts. So there's really big ones. There's like the Portland Water Bureau. There's the Tualatin Valley Water District, something to that effect. And then there's a lot of really, small little water districts throughout the Portland metro area too. So that's something that we can find out for you before moving into your property. We can try to look at what the average utility costs are too while we're home shopping. That's something that we do a lot for people, but we have a service that we offer for free to our clients through a company called Utility Connect. And it's like a concierge. You can get set up with somebody before moving in, and then they will tell you exactly what all the providers for your home are. And then you can actually use them to get everything switched into your name. So I will put a link to Utility Connect down in the description of the video as well. Okay, next you want to look at your internet provider. So this is something that a lot of people ask us about. Comcast and CenturyLink are the big internet providers in the Portland metro area. There's also Ziply and I think T-Mobile and Verizon, and there's a lot of other smaller companies that provide internet service. I think it would really be important to look at a particular property that you're interested in or a home that you've purchased. Who was the internet provider there previously, because they're going to have the infrastructure set up, they're going to have the box set up already wired into your home, so that might be a little bit of an easier transition. But if you need very specific internet speeds, high internet speeds in particular, you might want to shop around a little bit. Obviously, a lot of people work from home. Everybody streams, and everybody has, countless devices now. So Having good connectivity is super important. I'll put links down to Comcast and CenturyLink down in the description as well. Okay, so those are going to be the big boxes to check. A lot of the boring stuff, kind of the self-administrative stuff that you'll want to get taken care of between, getting an offer accepted, going through that process, and actually moving to town. Now, once you're here, there's definitely some things that you're going to want to do to get out and explore. So there's a couple of things that I'll recommend in this video. And of course, we can talk about what are going to be some of the best activities for you based on your interest, your hobbies, your lifestyle, and things like that. But the 4T is something that is really popular for tourists, people who are new to Portland, to get out and really explore. So you have the tram, trolley, the trail, and the train. So the trolley, that's going to be the Portland streetcar. The train, that's going to be the Portland Max. The trail, obviously on foot. And then there's going to be the tram. There's a tram that goes from OHSU down to some of the parking garages and facilities that OHSU has on South Waterfront. So we'll put a picture up right here or a video. So that's what the tram looks like. There's a tour basically of Portland where you can take the tram to the streetcar, to the train, and then to a trail, the train being the Max line, the light rail. And that's a really good way to spend an afternoon, just getting out and exploring the city. Definitely recommend doing it on a day that's not raining or that's not super cold or windy, but along the way you can stop and get some food, stop at a brewery, stop and get a coffee, all of the above. And again, it's a really good way to get out and explore. Now there's something else that I'll call the 4P. So you have Pittock Mansion, Powell's Bookstore, the Pearl District, and Pioneer Square. So this will keep you more or less in downtown and southwest and northwest Portland, but this is a really good way to see the city. Pittock Mansion up on the hill, kind of in Forest Park. It's this big estate, and they have this kind of overlook area. You can tour the mansion. I think like on the weekends, that's $5. Maybe it's a little more expensive nowadays, but you can get kind of a historical tour of kind of some old Portland history. Again, you can get this sweeping view from up on the hill of downtown Portland. You can see the river, the east side, Mount Hood. Sometimes you can see Mount Adams and Mount St. Helens on a clear day. So that's a really scenic, great place to definitely go check out. And then, of course, you have Powell's Books, legendary bookstore in downtown Portland, right on Burnside, really close to the Pearl District. So definitely a Portland institution, definitely a great place to check out. There's a coffee shop in there. I mean, every book you can think of, every genre you can think of is there at Powell's Bookstore. And then from Powell's, you can get into the Pearl District. Pearl District was kind of this old industrial area that over the past 25, 30 years has really been revitalized. And you have a ton of condos, apartments, some of the best restaurants in the city of Portland, breweries, bars, ice cream, coffee shops, boutiques, shopping, some high-end luxury retail shops. A lot of great stuff, and it's really cool. A lot of the storefronts, kind of the brick and mortar storefronts, are on like a loading dock level. So there's like these walkways, along a lot of these sections of the Pearl District where along what was loading docks are now these really cool storefronts and restaurants and things like that. So the Pearl District, definitely a must-see, an area that you'll probably find yourself hanging out in quite a bit from time to time at least. And then you're going to get back into downtown Portland on the southwest side and check out Pioneer Square. So Pioneer Square is like, I think they call it Portland's living room. So it's this big city block that is all brick, and it's kind of like set up like an amphitheater. And they have events there. There's like the Winter Ale Fest. They do the Christmas tree lighting. There's live music throughout the year, especially in the summer. And a lot of people just go sit there. It's a great place to people watch. It's a greght place to hang out. And it's like this open city block that's kind of busy and bustling all the time. So that's a great Portland landmark or site to see. So the 4T and the 4P, put those on your list right when you get into town. You'll be able to see a lot of the city and really take in a lot of everything that Portland has to offer. Now, I told you at the beginning of this video, if you just skip to these last couple of minutes, we're just going to recap everything. So I'm going to put links to everything you'll need to know in the description of this video. But if you're moving to a new city, especially if you're moving from out of state, there's a lot of things that you're going to need to do. So you're going to need to register to vote, right? You're going to need to get your driver's license. You're going to need to get your car registered. and the title registered with the state of Oregon. You're going to need to find your healthcare provider. So there's a link to that down in the description of the video. You're going to need to look at your commute. Are you going to be driving? Are you going to be taking public transit? Do you want to bike? Do you want to do a combination of those things? What are the best routes? What are the best times for that? Again, there's links to resources in the description of the video. Look at your garbage and recycling. You know, how frequently does it come? What day does it come? Look at your utilities, water, sewer, electricity, natural gas. You want to get those things put into your name. So from the moment you move in, you're all good to go. Again, we have a service for that. I'll link to that service. So when the time comes, you can sign up for that. I'll also send it to you later on in the process. So you don't necessarily need to sign up right now. You're going to need to find an internet provider. Again, CenturyLink, Comcast, those are the big providers in the Portland metro area. I'll have links to those in the description of the video. You're going to want to register your kids for school, or if you plan on starting a family, you're going to want to look at school districts and look at that registration process. So I'm going to have links to all the different school districts, again, in the description of the video. So if you want to check that out, those are all going to be there. And then of course, you want to be able to get out and explore. So I'm going to put in some ideas, some things that you can do right away, right when you get to Portland, so you can really get out and get the lay of the land and see the city. So again, all of these things that you're going to want to start doing right away, you know, right when you start planning your move to Portland, and the things that you're going to want to have in place when you get here. Links to all of that in the description. If you are thinking about moving to the Portland metro area and you're starting to look at different neighborhoods, different suburbs, different communities, and you want to learn more about what are some of the areas that are going to fit you best, and start talking about a home search and putting together a game plan, make sure to give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video. Schedule a Zoom call with us and we can talk about your budget and your timeline, and again, put together a game plan so you can have success with your move to the Portland metro area. Now, if this video was helpful, make sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. And if you want to get more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. As always, we really appreciate you watching, and until next time, we'll talk to you later.